Welcome to the Millionaire Code. Without any delays, let's start the video. First up, we've got the king of the index fund world, the S&P 500 index fund. Now I know what you might be thinking, S&P 500 sounds complicated, but trust me, it's anything but. Think of the S&P 500 as the all-star team of the stock market. It tracks the performance of 500 of the largest and most successful companies in the US. We're talking household names like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, companies that are basically running the world as we know it. When you invest in an S&P 500 index fund, you're essentially buying a tiny piece of all of these companies at once. That means you're instantly diversified across multiple sectors like technology, healthcare, finance, and more. And the best part, S&P 500 index funds are known for their low fees. We're talking like 0.03% or even less per year. That means more of your money stays where it belongs, in your pocket, growing for your future. Now let's talk about growth potential. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned an average of around 10% per year over the long term. That doesn't mean it goes up every single year. Remember 2008? Even the all-stars have bad games sometimes. But over the long run, the S&P 500 has consistently trended upwards, making it a powerful engine for building wealth. If you're looking for a simple, low-cost way to get started with investing, the S&P 500 Index Fund is your new best friend. Next up, we're taking our investment journey a step further with the Total Stock Market Index Fund. Now, if the S&P 500 is the all-star team, the total stock market is like owning the entire league. Instead of just tracking 500 large companies, a total stock market index fund invests in nearly every publicly traded company in the US. That's thousands of companies, from the big players we all know to the up-and-coming small businesses that could be the next Amazon. So, why choose a total stock market index fund over the S&P 500? Well, it comes down to diversification. While the S&P 500 is heavily weighted towards large-cap companies, the total stock market gives you exposure to small-cap and mid-cap companies as well. Small-cap companies in particular have the potential for explosive growth, although they also come with higher risk. By investing in the total stock market, you're essentially spreading your bets across the entire spectrum of the US economy. And just like the S&P 500 index funds, total stock market index funds boast incredibly low fees, making them a super cost-effective way to invest. If you're looking for maximum diversification and believe in the long-term growth potential of the US economy, the total stock market index fund might just be your perfect match. Now for all you tech enthusiasts out there, this one's for you, the NASDAQ 100 Index Fund. If you believe that innovation is the future, and you're always the first one to try out the latest gadgets, this index fund could be right up your alley. The NASDAQ 100 tracks the performance of 100 of the largest non-financial companies listed on the NASDAQ stock market. And let me tell you, this index is heavily weighted towards technology. We're talking about companies that are shaping the future, like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Google. The list goes on and on. Investing in the NASDAQ 100 is essentially placing a bet on the continued growth and dominance of the technology sector. And let's be real, technology has been on an absolute tear over the past few decades, transforming the way we live, work, and interact with the world. But here's the thing, with higher potential rewards also comes higher risk. The tech sector can be volatile, and the NASDAQ 100 has experienced some pretty wild swings in the past. Remember the dot-com bubble? Yeah, not pretty. So, while the NASDAQ 100 can offer incredible growth potential, it's essential to go in with a long-term mindset and be prepared for some bumps along the way. If you're a tech-savvy investor who's comfortable with a bit of risk, the NASDAQ 100 Index Fund could be your ticket to riding the next tech wave. Let's face it, who doesn't love getting paid? And with a dividend growth index fund, you can actually get paid to invest. That's right, you can have your cake and eat it too. Dividend growth index funds invest in companies that have a long history of paying dividends to their shareholders and consistently increasing those dividends over time. Think of it like owning a piece of a money printing machine, except instead of printing money, it's sending you a check every quarter. Now, dividends aren't guaranteed, and companies can always choose to cut or eliminate them, especially during tough economic times. But by investing in companies with a proven track record of dividend growth, you're increasing your chances of receiving a steady stream of passive income. Dividend growth index funds are particularly popular among income-focused investors, such as retirees who are looking for a way to supplement their retirement income. They can also be a great option for younger investors who are looking to build a passive income stream over the long term. And just like the other index funds we've talked about, dividend growth index funds are typically very low cost, making them an efficient way to invest for both income and growth. If you're looking for a way to get paid to invest and potentially build a stream of passive income, a dividend growth index fund might be the perfect addition to your portfolio. So far we've been focusing on index funds that invest exclusively in the US market. But guess what? The world is a big place and there are tons of amazing investment opportunities outside of the good old US of A. That's where international index funds come in. These funds allow you to invest in companies based in countries all over the world, from emerging markets like China and India to developed markets like Europe and Japan. Investing internationally can be a great way to further diversify your portfolio and potentially reduce your risk. Remember, when the US market is having a bad day, other markets around the world might be doing just fine or even thriving. Plus, by investing internationally, you're gaining exposure to some of the fastest growing economies in the world. These emerging markets often have younger populations, rapidly expanding middle classes, and tons of untapped potential. Of course, investing internationally does come with its own set of risks, such as currency fluctuations, political instability, and differences in accounting standards. But by investing in a broadly diversified international index fund, you can mitigate some of these risks and potentially benefit from the growth of the global economy. If you're looking to expand your investment horizons and tap into the growth potential of the world beyond the US, an international index fund can be a valuable tool in your investing arsenal. So there you have it, our top 5 index funds for beginners in 2024. Remember, investing doesn't have to be complicated or scary. Index funds offer a simple, low-cost, and effective way to build wealth over the long term. The key is to start early, stay consistent, and don't panic when the market inevitably goes through its ups and downs. Index funds are like a roller coaster. There will be dips and drops, but over time, the ride tends to go up. Index funds are simple, low-cost, and powerful. Start small today and watch your money grow. Want to learn more? Check out our channel for in-depth guides on building wealth.